Okay, so we are back. Now let's write the first paragraph. Let's just knock it out. Might not seem like we have a lot here. We have a lot here. Because this is based on memory. So, all right. The title we can do a little later. Um, something about, mirror image, mirror. Actually, it wouldn't be mirror on the wall because that's about beauty. This is about being twins. Seeing double, double trouble. Um, Two heads are sometimes better than one or more fun than one. You're just sort of writing like you're taking like a cliche and you're flipping it on its ear, or you're just what I really like too are like Sports Illustrated headlines. A lot of times they would pull a lot of headlines for a lot of periodicals. They would take really popular like Shakespeare plays or the titles of famous books or famous poems, and then they would make a twist on it. I think SI did that really well for a long time, um, and probably continue to as well. But but yeah, I think a good title. You were gonna go too crazy on the title, but you want to make it obviously apropos and pointing directly at what you're talking about. So we're talking about heads, identical twins, um, and etc. So okay, so let's start. So there there was one set in every 250 births. Now, why would I? I guess I could do one. I guess I could do one. Um, Even little things like this, though, I think bear discussing and unpacking. Um, so when you do like 1 and 250, it really points at a number. Um, it's so small, but I really want to talk about it. The reason why I punch in ONE is because it's part of the story. So ONE is a word and it's part of the narrative. So this is an essay that we're going to write. It's a narrative. It's part of, it's one set of twins. If I have a bunch of numbers, there was one set in every 250 births, then that makes it feel more like a math problem or an SAT, math question. Um, like it's a word problem. Or I'm more focused on the statistics of it, but I'm really not. I'm really trying to tell a story. So that's why the decision to say, okay, let me say the word one. Um, the other thing is like, okay, well, what if I wanted to say, you know, what if I didn't want to punch the number in there? What if I wanted to write 250? Well, now that looks really long and sort of a little bit obnoxious because, um, it's kind of like typing out the number of the year, right? 2000X, um, or 1821. So I think it's sort of subconsciously, even though these might seem like small things, they really add up. Um, and that's why so you could say there is one set in every 250 births, or there is one set in every 250 births. Well, I think this would be okay. But again, for the reasons I stated above, I think it's second best. I think this is third best. I think this is best. So the one is part of our story, our narrative. That's why I'm saying the word. Plus, it's short. It's not like, 250,000. I'm not going to write that word out probably. Um, and then the 250 is, of course, a lot shorter. So, and, so yeah. So that's why I would decide that. So there's one set in every 250 births. Um, no, not a set of blank, but rather a set of heads, a set of bodies, a set of um, bodies, a set of or to be more exact, a set of identical twins. And here we're planting the seed of, oh, we're going to talk about heads, right? Because I just dropped it in first line. And I found a sort of an interesting way to enter. No, not a set of blank, but rather a set of heads, a set of bodies, or to be more exact, a set of identical twins. So we can figure out what this set is a little later. This keeps the pace going. And you know, we could start with sort of the humor here. You could say, no, not a set of steak knives, or not a set of you know, baseball cards, or a set of, you know, there's so many things that we could potentially say, but we don't have to say it right now. We don't have to like rack our brain and figure that out. We could just leave the little brackets there and move on, and we'll find, like, later we'll find something cute that's appropriate or funny or interesting, that keeps the reader listening, you know, and focused on these words. So there was one set in every 250 births. Nope, not a set of blank, but rather a set of heads, a set of bodies, or to be more exact. And why we're saying or instead of and is because it's not a list. We're not saying, oh, I've got this, I got a set of heads, and I got a set of bodies. It's like you're going to the grocery store, right? I got a set of this, I got a set of that. You're saying a set of heads, a set of bodies, or to be more exact, a set of identical twins. So now we're saying, oh, so now the reader's saying, oh, the set of heads and the set of bodies are part of the set of identical twins. I like using different punctuation. I think that's crucial. You don't want to use like commas every time, comma, 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 comma. You don't want to use parentheses a lot. You also don't want to use hyphens all the time. You want to mix it up. You want to vary your sentence structure. You want to vary your punctuation. You want to vary your sentence length. So this is why I want to walk you guys through like every single decision and word choice, and punctuation choice, because I think it really helps when you stand back and read an entire essay. Like, okay, this is why this works. This tends to work. And again, you know, not everyone might agree with every choice, and obviously this is very subjective. This isn't like math. This is very subjective. So that's why I really wanted to go sort of slowly, and walk through, you know, every choice. Or other set of heads, a set of bodies, or to be more exact, a set of identical twins. So the hyphen is good, you know, and like we could say, you know, we could also say, we could say this with no punctuation, or we could say, or to be more exact, identical twins, right? I don't know, or we could say this, or we could say, so why did we choose the hyphens? Well, I think we chose the hyphens because we've already got commas here. We have 1, 2, 3 commas in this sentence. That would be sort of overloading with commas. Could we just use the words and not stay any punctuation? Yes, but I don't know if that's, I'm not sure if that's grammatically correct. It might be. You know, and that's one thing that I'll say as well, is like, I'm not perfect. I'm not like, I'll probably make a few grammatical mistakes even in these videos. I try to be pretty close to, you know, perfect, or close to, you know, I definitely try to write high quality, but you know, everyone makes mistakes. I mean, and I'm certainly no exception. But I have spent a lot of time reading and even looking at dictionaries, the sources. We can talk about that another time as well. But But yeah, I think that that's grammatically incorrect. I think there needs to be punctuation here, where I think it's like the odds are strong that we need to have punctuation there. Um, I believe so, and we can use well, I have Open Office on my Mac here, so I could I'm sure I could use spell check and whatnot. Um, but I think it's more visually interesting. So what about the parentheses? Well, as a matter of practice, I don't like to use a lot of parentheses. I use them sometimes, but I think it's more for effect, like really rarely. It's more for like emails. When it comes to like essays, I think parentheses, I think people tend to overuse them. Um, I think it's yeah. So I guess I have an emotional disconnect with using too many parentheses. Um, and I don't want to start at the beginning, because I think it also shows that I don't want to say it's lazy, but it kind of to me it sets the stage for like the reader thinking that it's a little bit of a cop out. It's like you're throwing in parentheses. It's like you're not fully committing. It's I think when you use a lot of parentheses, it shows like you're a little bit unsure of the quality of your writing. You're a little bit unsure of the confidence of your writing. So I don't like to start out, eagerly, throwing out parentheses. So I think a hyphen here would be really, really helpful. I do think that using parentheses is probably better than not using any punctuation uh, to offset that phrase to be more exact. So that's probably my second, uh, third favorite. My favorite would be the hyphens. Second would be the commas, and third would be the parentheses. Now the commas, they could work. Be more exact, but they're kind of confusing. Oh, they're also a little bit confusing, right? Because you're saying a set of heads, a set of bodies, or to be more exact, a set of identical twins. They actually work. A teeny bit confusing because there's so many commas, but they actually work. I could totally see myself doing this. Someone that I think it comes off as very intelligent, very sophisticated, to be able to pull off all those commas. I really do. I think that, and I think a lot of the old style writing might have included, like the classic books. You might see a lot of commas. Um, so I think it shows a level of sophistication. However, I would rather come off as not necessarily as sophisticated, maybe a little bit less sophisticated, but have the readability be a lot higher. Because I want this to be really a funny sentence that the reader doesn't have to stumble over. So I'm like, there was one set in every 250 births. So I want to hook the lapels of the reader. No, not a set of blank, right? I'm connecting one set. Like when you're writing, you want to think, what is the question that the reader is going to ask at the end of the sentence? And you got to answer that question. It's crucial to writing any medium, but especially essay writing. So there was one set in every 250 births. Well, Mike, what set? What are you talking about? What's a set? Births I can kind of understand. You're like, okay, well, you're the birth of what? So that's the second question, right? The first question is what set? What does this mean? And then the other thing is human births. So like, I could say human births if I wanted to make it super clear. There was one set in every 250 human births. Actually, that's probably better. I didn't use that on my college application essays, but this is probably better because it's really clear. Because now, some smart person or perceptive person might say, "I know where he's going. He's going to a twins." Especially if they see the title is Double Trouble, or they see the title is Two Heads Are Better Than One. You want to give the reader the joy of sort of figuring stuff out, but not like give everything up. You still want to be fun and colorful and interesting. So I think that's really good. We could omit human, but let's just keep it. I kind of like it. There's one set in every 250 human births. No, not a set of blank, but rather a set of heads, a set of bodies, or, right, or to be more exact, a set of identical twins. So good start, and we're going to go through this a lot thoroughly. I appreciate you guys' patience with these videos because it's not the traditional way to show folks how to write essays or how I write essays. it's very long and drawn out and patient and overly explanatory. But hopefully this is helpful. So we're going to go over some more of the first paragraph in the next video. Thank you very much.